the NFC and AFC championship. Let's start with the NFC game because that happened first.
Yeah.
The big question I think that bears asking is, would things have turned out any differently had Brock Purdy been able to play the entire game?
I mean, I don't think we'll ever know, right? There was always question about Purdy because he hadn't been at this level before. But he had been playing very well, right?
He had never lost.
He had some history with playing against Jalen Hurts in college. So there were some things going on here.
Which, by the way, the two of us gave us an all-time memorable game.
Right.
Between Oklahoma and
Iowa State. Mm-hmm. And so we sit here and you wonder what would have been. Well, we'll never know now. This is all speculation now. I'll go back to what I was saying earlier in the day. Shame on San Francisco for rolling the dice. Because they had to think about it beforehand. They rolled the dice that Garoppolo was probably going to be ready to go at some point in time. Figured that this kid was going well, and we had an insurance policy in the wing. Well, guess what? The premium became due and payable earlier than you thought it was. And you didn't have anything. And then they turned to a guy that had been a journeyman at best. And then when he got knocked out, you had to go back to the guy that was clipped.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
And couldn't throw the ball more than 3 yards.
Right, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to know who answers for that in San Francisco.
Well, ultimately, John Lynch runs the 49ers. He's done a marvelous job of building talent at that organization. I'm sure if you asked John this morning, would you like to have a mulligan? I'm sure this was discussed. Are we equipped? You know, this wasn't. John's a very smart guy, but at the end of the day,
you weigh risk to reward, and you took a shot, right?
The wrong shot. Has something for us.
Can I just chime in on this? Because, Brad, I love you. I could not disagree with you more on this one.
Okay.
Another team outside of Chad Henne for one drive played a backup quarterback this postseason. You go into a postseason with your best 53-man roster, and a lot of times that means having
but the point Brad's making is you were already on your third-string quarterback.
This is where you're wrong.
So if you lose your third string, you're punting not punting.
No, this is where you're wrong, young fella. Right, listen to me here. Right,
I'm listening.
Listen to your elder, young man.
You have to play the odds here, right? You're already on your third string guy. You have to go to what worst case scenario could be, right? You have to.
That's what GMs do.
You have to do that, right?
I get that, but
or if you get that, then there's no discussion.
So you wanted to have 5 quarterbacks on the roster?
It's
backup to Josh Johnson?
It's not 5 quarterbacks, Mikey.
No.
You're down to the third string guy.
So he's the first one. That's your first.
He's number 1 now.
Yeah,
So
now
now
your
you're
quarterback.
So you're not saying
no,
have a backup to Josh Johnson. You're saying have a better backup to Brock Purdy.
I'm saying before you went to the playoff roster, you had to know that I'm at the third string guy who's now my first string guy. So if the third string guy goes down,
what are we doing?
What are we doing?
And what they came up with was Josh Johnson.
Sorry, Brad. I misinterpreted your point. I thought you said they should have had a third string back.
Oh, no.
Josh Johnson.
No. They elected to go with Josh Johnson thinking that they could squeak it on out till Garoppolo came back.
Hindsight's always 20/20, and now we have the benefit of the results from watching Josh Johnson and realizing maybe Steve Young would have been a better option. He clearly was not up to the task.
Do you know Jawan Jennings, their receiver, was ranked higher as a quarterback coming out of high school than Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson? They were in the same class, and he was a 4-star dual-threat quarterback. I would have put him back there over Josh Johnson after seeing him play for a drive.
I mean,
I think what I take away from these games is I'm gonna stop. I joked and said I'm not gonna be a knee-jerk reaction guy. I'll still have some knee-jerk stuff coming. Don't worry about that. It's, I'm just warming into it.
You got to live up to your nickname.
Got to. The thing is, man, I took away. It is so hard to win a championship.
Oh yeah.
I think we've watered it down so much where we just say you need a quarterback and you could get this and you franchise quarterback and voila, we got it. Man, I watch these games and it just goes to show you not only got to be good, you got to be durable. You got to be lucky as hell. You got to have the right calls happen for you. You got to have some players make plays at the right time. And this game just showed you can have the best offense, the best defense, and you can get in that game and 1 or 2 things happen. And that's it. Purdy got hurt, and that was done. You saw it. They fought valiantly, but when you're at that high of a level, the Eagles said,
valiantly. Valiantly. I started turning to watch something else. I let me go to the.
Yeah, it's not often that you can turn off a game like that.
Let me watch the girls' basketball
People
here.
turn that game off.
Oh, they was running wild.
I mean, at 28-7,
well,
you knew.
Again, I want to know this, Jay. Who made the call? Because I guarantee you the discussion was had before they set that playoff roster. Who made the call? Because everybody had to be comfortable with it, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it was a discussion between John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan.
So is that Shanahan that makes the call? Somebody made the call.
Ultimately, the guy that prepares the ingredients, if you will, is the general manager. Now, there's input from the chef, Kyle Shanahan. He might say, no, I'm going to need some broccoli for this dish.
Or he was comfortable with it.
So that discussion is had, but the guy buying the groceries is John Lynch.
Here's the deal. There's one guy. You got a 53-man roster, right? Everybody wasn't playing in the damn game. Somebody was spared. I ought to trade out one guy. One guy.
I always say that what coaches say or GMs say that they are, I'm doing this and I'm 100% in the win, they're all lying. Because we mentioned a name earlier. Where Colin Kaepernick at? I know he can answer the Colin. Can you give me some?
And I think that's a call you make in week 12. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think you wait until
when you
know you're on your third string quarterback.
Jay, at that point you would have done what?
Yeah, I think it was week 9. He started from week 9 or 10 on. So you know where you are. I just throw Colin Kaepernick out there as a guy who's probably younger than Josh Johnson.
Yes,
took this very team to a Super Bowl once upon a time. And I think a lot of NFL fans, just following the historical events, are still asking themselves, this guy really was out of gas?
Like they don't want to break the glass. When you break the glass on that Kaepernick situation, then the game becomes about Kaepernick and not about the 49ers.
The Steelers were smart enough this year to break that glass because they went and hired a guy who was suing the league for discrimination. And the Steelers said, no. I know talent when I see it. That dude can coach. Come on over to our camp.
I'm going to bring you back to this. So the Niners go all in when you get McCaffrey, right? You're all in.
You're all in.
This thing is rolling, right? So you know it's rolling. So here, I cannot go into the playoffs on a if, come, but, or maybe, right?
Yeah.
I have to make a decision. It's a big boy decision. It's a big girl decision. Yeah. I'm making a decision here for the betterment of the group because I've got 53 guys here giving their heart and soul to this run. And then you just said,
I would like to know from John, what were the conversations inside the building? What was talked about? Who was talked about?
You can guarantee that that's going to come out that clubhouse soon.
I'm sure it will.
Soon.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Yeah. I think to get back to the ultimate question was, what difference did it make? I think we would have had a competitive game.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
But I still think that the best team won. I think the Eagles had the best team.
Yeah, I had them winning.
I think they were playing at home. And I think that's a big part of this. And also, let's not forget, if anybody would have said week 1 of the season that we would be asking this question the week before the Super Bowl, would Brock Purdy have made a difference if he was healthy? That's absurd.
Right.
He was Mr. Irrelevant. Right. He was the last player drafted. Mm-hmm. And literally, as I'm watching the game, I hear the broadcast team, not a fan of, I thought, I missed Joe Buck. I'm sorry, I missed Joe Buck. I'm going to say it.
I thought, I was like, this ain't number 1 squad?
It is their best, allegedly. And
I like Olsen.
It's just where they are.
Romo?
I like Olsen. He's fine. But it's just, I need to have a big, when I listen to it, I need to hear a big game feel. And Fox does. Burkhart's fine. He's a fine play-by-play guy. I think he's a better desk and studio host than he is a play-by-play guy.
No disrespect.
But at one point, I heard Kevin Burkhardt say, this game and the Niners season may well come down to whether or not Josh Johnson can re-enter the game. And I thought, if Josh Johnson, in a vacuum, could have been told in September that was going to be uttered in the course of the NFC Championship game, you're screwed. You're done.
You're done.
So literally, their hopes in the first place were hinged on Brock Purdy being healthy. And then they were hinged on Josh Johnson being healthy. Let's just call it what it is. They were in over their heads, and it was one of those deals where I don't know what they were doing. Were they stealing parking spaces from women? Were they slamming the door on Girl Scouts selling cookies? I don't know, but karma came calling, and it was literally like Every little thing that could happen happened.
Boy.
Let's go right back to the Devontae Smith catch. First drive of the game.
Yeah.
In real time, and I didn't see all the angles, but in real time, before anybody was rushing to the line, I thought, I don't know that he completed that catch. Yeah. Well, when the receiver comes up and he's going like this, which is signal for let's go, it wasn't a catch.
Right.
At that point, I don't even need to see a replay. Red flag.
Yeah. And
red flag out.
And they supposed to be watching it anyway. I don't even need. Please stop hurrying up.
They weren't in. Yeah. You know what? Act like nothing happened. You know, it's like running from the crime scene. Yeah. That's the guy that did it.
Jay, what do you do? Jay, what do you do?
This is the sign. Every team has a sign.
Yeah.
Every team has a sign.
I was like, what the hell is he doing?
That's the sign. Let's go. Let's go. Now, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, or even anybody on the San Francisco defense who could call a timeout, if I'm watching that, they're not in the hurry up. Smith jumps up and he's doing this, and everybody starts running to the line. Oh, no. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Timeout.
Throw the flag. And when after the touchdown, they finally found a replay angle that showed that the ball was hitting the ground and moving at the same time. And rightfully so, the in-booth official, Pereira, looked at it and said, that's not a catch. So how does that game change based on if that's not a touchdown? Because that was remember,
that's the first
one.
I believe that was fourth down.
It was fourth down.
So not only do you take 7 points off the board,
you get the ball back.
You get the ball back in great field position. Mm-hmm. So
with Brock Purdy.
With Brock Purdy, who's still healthy at that point. So how did things change? I don't know. I think it would have been closer. Then there was their second touchdown drive was aided by 3 penalties, one of which was very questionable. But it was just like some of these holds that they're calling, and you'll know this. You can call that at every play.
I think
every single play, there's an arm hook, there's a neck grab.
If you watch San Francisco play, I think the thing that Shanahan was mad about was this is the style of play that they had all year. Mm-hmm. All year they was handsy. All year they play plush man coverage. Tybus will tell you, look, if you playing that way and the referees know that and they're supposed to be watching tape, they got to keep it 50-50.
They got to keep it 100.
They got to keep it. You can't call every single thing, especially the 5-yard first down.
That was the big one.
That was the big.
I'm sorry. That happens on every single play if you break down tape.
That's tough.
It was hard. So I don't think it's 31-7. Maybe it's 21-17.
Right.
The one thing I wanted to point out, I wish I was here Thursday or Friday because I read a big piece on this on Thursday. I was fascinated by this. Bull said it'll never happen again where a team doesn't win with a superstar quarterback. It's now, that's what the league is, period. I'm not sure about that. And this Super Bowl matchup, even though Philadelphia has a good quarterback, they advanced on the strength of their run game. And there's no debating that. Their run game was absolutely on point, and Kansas City's is not. Kansas City is a passing offense. Yeah. And Philadelphia is much, much, much more run-based. So we're going to see whether it's the immovable object or the unstoppable force.
And let me tell you this. I'll go back and look at the reason why Philadelphia is so dominant. I'll look at the defensive line. You know they got 70 sacks.
That's unbelievable.
They got 14 more than anyone else in the league.
Do you know
unreal?
Just 70?
They keep heat on you.
I mean, when you look at Reddick and when you get Fletcher Cox, and you get Hardwell.
Dominican Sue was a force.
I have to stop you here, right? We saw with our eyes yesterday. What's going on in Berea? What is going on?
And then Sue came in and gave him
some
work.
What is that? The Browns' number 2 sack man had how many sacks?
3.
Do you want to see it just for the visual element of this?
It's unbelievable.
Because it kind of makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit every time I see this.
It does.
Just a bit.
Yeah, take it full. It really is embarrassing to look at, but this is the truth. These numbers don't lie.
Our number 2 sack man had 3 sacks.
Now, these boys had 70. And it wasn't like they was just playing the pass because they was stopping. They was hitting McCaffrey in the backfield. They was hitting
25 and a half sacks. How many did the Eagles have?
70. Just the D line. It was the front.